Today's incident is completely true, dear friends. This incident is terrible. You will hear from the beginning to the end. Hope you like it. Let's hear it without babble. This incident is terrible. The crawl space held a secret nobody was supposed to find. After buying an old foreclosure in Sacramento, everything seemed normal until a devastating flood forced the homeowner into her crawl space. There, she uncovered forgotten family photographs, an old newspaper about a missing 6-year-old, and finally, the horrifying truth buried beneath the house itself. What followed reopened a decades-old mystery and exposed a secret that had been hidden in plain sight for years. Full story. I bought my house in January 2022, a foreclosure in Sacramento, built in 1952, exactly what I could afford on my paralegal salary. The inspection noted foundation settling and an old sump pump, but nothing alarming. I should have asked why the previous owners left. A few months after moving in, I noticed something odd in the spare bedroom, a ceiling panel that didn't sit quite flush. I grabbed the ladder from the garage and investigated. Behind the panel was an old cardboard box. Inside were photographs, dozens of them. A woman in her late 20s, a young child around 6 years old, and a baby. Family photos from what looked like the early 2000s. Birthday parties, Christmas, park visits. They seemed happy, normal. I figured the previous owners had forgotten them. People leave things behind all the time. I tossed the box in recycling and didn't think about it again. The first year was fine, normal. My crawl space was the standard nightmare, low ceiling, dirt floor, spiders. I'd been down there twice and hated every second. In fall of my second year, I called a plumber for a slow-draining kitchen sink. Ray, an older guy my neighbor recommended, fixed it within an hour. When he came back upstairs, he looked puzzled. "Got your drain cleared," he said, "but there's a box down there in your crawl space near the main drain line. Cardboard and moisture don't mix. Might want to move it before it causes problems." I thanked him and said I'd take a look, but I forgot about it immediately. Life got busy. Work, dating, holidays. A box in the crawl space wasn't a priority. Then came February 2023, California's wettest winter on record. By mid-month, we'd had more rain than the previous 3 years combined. On February 17th, the atmospheric river hit. It started at noon and never stopped. By evening, my street was a river. Around 8 p.m., water seeped under my front door. I built towel barriers, but it was useless. Then I heard gurgling beneath my house, water rushing in my crawl space. I opened the access panel in my hallway closet. 6 inches of water covered the dirt floor. I had to check for foundation damage. The water was shockingly cold. As I lowered myself in, crouching in the cramped space, my flashlight showed the supports intact. I started to relax. Then I remembered the plumber's words. The box near the drain. I found it completely saturated, partially collapsed, disintegrating in the water. I pulled out what I could salvage. More photographs in plastic sleeves, the same woman and children from the ceiling box. But there were older photos too. The woman pregnant, hospital newborn pictures, birthday parties, school photos. At the bottom was a newspaper in a plastic bag that had kept it mostly dry. The Sacramento Bee, October 14th, 2004. The headline stopped my heart. Local girl 6 missing for 2 weeks. Jessica Lynn Hartwell disappeared from this neighborhood in late September 2004. Last seen playing in her backyard. My backyard. The article showed Jessica's photo, the same little girl from the pictures. Massive search efforts, hundreds of volunteers, canine units, no trace found. Her parents, Robert and Diana Hartwell, were persons of interest but never charged. The case went cold. If you've ever wondered what a house can hide for 20 years, stay close for what came next. Why hide family photos of your missing child? My flashlight swept the crawl space with new purpose. 10 feet away, near the foundation wall, was a mound in the dirt. Deliberate. About 3 feet long. No, it couldn't be. But I moved closer anyway, my mind screaming at me to leave. The flooding had eroded the dirt, washing away years of careful covering. Something white showed beneath. Smooth, curved bone. A small skull, maybe 8 inches across. Empty eye sockets, staring at nothing. I stumbled backward, dropping my flashlight. It stayed lit underwater, creating wild shadows. I saw a small rib cage, delicate hand bones, a spine, a child's skeleton, hidden for almost 20 years. I scrambled out, collapsed on my hallway floor, shaking uncontrollably. There's a child's body under my house. I think it's Jessica Hartwell, the missing girl from 2004. Police arrived within 20 minutes, then forensics, then the FBI. They asked about the photos. I told them about the ceiling box I'd thrown away. They tracked it down. Evidence. They excavated my crawl space over 3 days. I stayed with my sister, unable to process what I'd found. Dental records confirmed it. Jessica Lynn Hartwell, age 6, missing since September 2004, dead since shortly after her disappearance, buried in her own home's crawl space while her parents appeared on news begging for her return. Robert and Diana Hartwell were arrested in Arizona, where they'd moved in 2006. They confessed within hours. An accident, they claimed. Jessica fell down the stairs, hit her head on the coffee table, died almost instantly. Diana was pregnant with her 3rd child. Robert had a good job, a reputation. They couldn't lose everything. So they buried her, made up the backyard disappearance story, let the community search while they knew exactly where she was. They lived there 2 more years, walking above her daily before selling and leaving the photos. Some in the ceiling where they could retrieve them, some in the crawl space as a twisted shrine. 5 families lived here between 2006 and 2022. None knew. None ventured far enough into the crawl space to see the disturbed earth. If it hadn't flooded, if that plumber hadn't mentioned the box, if I hadn't gone down there, she might still be hidden, still forgotten. I sold the house immediately, took a massive loss. I couldn't live where a child had been buried, where her parents slept above her for 2 years pretending to grieve. I attended Jessica's funeral. Her family, grandparents, aunts, uncles, who never stopped looking, finally got to say goodbye properly, finally laid her to rest with dignity. I live in an apartment now. 3rd floor, no crawl space, no basement. The most dangerous secrets aren't always hidden by strangers in the dark. Sometimes they're kept by the people who tucked you into bed. A home's foundation can hold more than just the house standing above it. The plumber warned her about the box in the crawl space nearly a full year before the flood forced her to check it. If he'd pushed harder that day, or if she'd gone down there right away instead of waiting for the storm, do you think Jessica would have been found sooner? Or do you believe it truly took a flood to expose the truth? This is a true horror story told by someone who actually lived through it. How did you feel about this incident? Please let us know by commenting. Thank you all.